if you look at any business, you could pretty much put them into this. I'm gonna try my best to make this, my my college or my high school writing. um, Sales, and then you have,
What
what
do
do
you?
we have here in the middle? It's called like transaction, right? And then we have on the last on the last is pretty much everything else: legal,
Get from.
admin. All right. So I think a lot of people, when they're looking at um, when they're looking at wholesaling, for that matter, I think a lot of people get stuck on, I think, this portion. You know, like for example, like they'll always ask, how do you wholesale? How do you do this? How, like, show me the steps to wholesale. But that's really, you're focusing on the wrong thing, because there's different aspects of this business, right?
Mhm.
And majority of the people are just so focused on this part. You don't have to worry about that until what? This right here, this part one and part two. And this is the most important aspect of any business, for that matter, of wholesaling, especially wholesaling, because wholesaling is about finding properties and then wholesaling them, right? And so what you got to get good at, especially for wholesalers, and especially for people in the sales, like industry, where you're selling something, is marketing, not the transaction. That is important, but that is something that you learn as you go and gain experience. You get better at it. All right. Somebody just heard something. Um, Let me just. I'm gonna. How do I mute? Oh, just mute yourself. Okay. All right. Um, so when it comes to marketing, I'm going to talk about, I want to talk about, let's get clear with a couple of things. There's what's called, let's call it area. And that's why when you, when people submit their information to come to the meeting, I always ask for the area and farm market, is because there's a couple of reasons. So whenever I do something, now I'm very intentional. Before, I used to just go and do this because I was impatient. But now I'm more intentional. I'm more, uh, like thinking about why I'm doing this and what is the purpose and the intention behind it. And the reason I'm asking for profession, if you submitted your information for the registration for the virtual meeting, I ask for what's your profession and what is your farm area. And the reason, there's couple of reasons, it's twofold, is that when I do virtual meetings in the future, let's say a annual meeting, I want to know where you are, so that way I can blast off if I'm doing something in that specific area. And then number two is, if you are in that area, then I could potentially reach out to that person. If I have a deal, or if I'm trying to expand in that area, then it gives me a little, so I could do a search on my database, um, and just type in whatever state that is, and then I'll be able to reach out to that person. Okay. But for the purposes of what we're talking about marketing, is that you have to know, you have to figure out what your area is. Okay. That is, whether it's county, state. Okay. And it also depends on um, what kind of marketing you're doing. All right. And then the next component is the niche. Okay. And I'm going to write down some niches here, right? I'm going to write down, and um, let let me know if I'm missing something, okay? Because I went through this and I just jotted down and brainstormed every type of niche, they call it niche or niche. um, there is let's call expired, right? And
Know your
what
niche before you make the switch.
say that again?
Know your niche before you make the switch.
Yes, yes. Know your niche before you switch. Yes. Are you saying that stick with something before you start doing something else?
Yes, become good at it before you.
Right. Harder than said, right? Um, eh, when I say expired means expired MLS, right? And also this could be kind of like, what your target market is or target, right? There is for rent. And if you don't understand what this is, then just let me know. For rent by owner. And what I'll do is I'll take a snapshot of this and I'll email it to you, or I'll upload it into our membership portal. There is pre-foreclosure and foreclosure. Now, some people may refer to foreclosures as pre-foreclosure. The way that I define it, it's a little bit if you go in our module, pre-foreclosure is pretty much any time before the list pending is filed. That's what I consider pre-foreclosure. But some website or some people might define pre-foreclosure as the whole foreclosure right up to the foreclosure when they actually uh, sell the property at auction. So just be conscious of that. There is absentee owners. There is probate, inheritance, and then there is divorce. There is tax liens. There is code violations. I'm doing pretty good with this, my handwriting skill here. There is REO. There is driving for dollars. In this case, it's kind of like, what is it? Neglected, neglected houses. Okay, houses. There is the MLS. There is Craigslist. Anything else? That's pretty much what I thought of was I was sitting down and brainstorming. Um, is there a secret list? Anybody know a secret list? There is no secret list. Okay, there all lists.
Tax liens? You did that, yeah.
I did that.
Mhm.
So a lot of my main point here is when I'm writing all this niche or list or whatever ways to get deals, there's no secret. The secret is they all work. It's how it's a matter of concentrating and focusing on it and doing just following up and sticking with these lists and building a system into whatever you're doing. And but also oh wait, there's also maybe I forgot, maybe we could include like here, like, well,
Facebook.
no. So I think um th- these are niches. Facebook and what I was gonna say, right, ban the signs, but that's a matter. It's a marketing. It's how you market. Okay, so I'm gonna clear this. I'm gonna save it first, and then I'm gonna clear this. Well, maybe I won't clear it. Maybe I'll just take. Yeah, I wanted to. I gotta figure out a better.
Can you add a page?
No, I mean I can, but I want to stay on the same screen because I want to be able to.
Can you shrink it so that you can put it on the side?
No, that's the limitation of this. This is a Zoom whiteboard. It's not a whiteboard, so I should get a whiteboard that can draw. How was I?
We'll just take a picture of it and call it.
Okay, that's fine. So driving here. So I could save it, but I wanted to just stay on the same screen. So now in terms of marketing, okay, I kind of broke it down into outbound, right? And then there's inbound. And then there is motivated leads, outbound leads, there's inbound leads, there's motivated, and then there's referral leads, and then there are what's called branded authority lead. Okay, so out of all those, now when I say leads, these are all types of marketing. So now I want you to understand when you look at this. So I want you to understand that each of these have different, you know, so even within the area, niche, and marketing, do you understand how many different ways to do marketing? And this is overwhelming, right? And we're just talking about this one category, this one section, which is the marketing section, which is right over here, number 1. Oops. And so that now do you understand why people, people are so focused on this because this is sexy right now. This transaction of wholesaling is what's sexy, but really what's most important, which is probably 80% of your business as a beginner, or for that matter, any business, this is what you need to focus on. But you have abundance of ways to do it. So when you look at marketing, what do you think is the most, what kind of leads do you want to be getting? What do you think is the hierarchy?
I like vacant properties.
No, no, vacant properties is this. Is driving for dollars. It's a niche. But in terms of marketing, what kind of leads do you want to get?
Referrals.
Or motivated leads.
Right. And so what it is that you want to get, you want to be down here. So these are, if you number these from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you want to try to go for number 1.
What's branded authority leads? I don't know what that means.
Basically,
is that the online authority that you have?
That is basically like, yes, because when you look at branded or authority leads, it's like, let's say you want to buy something. I'm not even talking about, real estate. I'm talking about just in general, you want to buy something, right? You want to buy, let's talk about a phone. No, that's not a phone. That's a bad example.
Basically, when you're searching on the internet and then it automatically pops up for you.
And then you do research, right?
Right.
And then you do comparison. You look at their reviews. You look at and then you go on YouTube. That's what I do. When I was installing my shed in my backyard, what did I do? I went to Home Depot, I went to Lowe's website, found out which size I wanted to get. Go on YouTube, look at other people's what they talked about, if they like that shed or something like that. And then after I broke it out into, you know, a couple of them, and then I did more research, and this took about a month or two, you know. And then I made a decision, and I went to Home Depot and said, okay, I want that, right?
Mhm.
So the same thing can be said of our business. Is the same thing, is that you do research. You're not the only wholesaler. You're not the only, you know, people in the business. There are lots of other people. So you know, and some people that are really motivated, they may call the first one. But most of the time in this day and age, where everybody is on the internet, where everybody has a phone, they could search you by name, by company name, and do due diligence. All right. So what RJ is doing right now, she's doing huge outbound leads. Not to say it doesn't work, but it works. But you got to do a mass volume. But you have to understand, as a beginner, you don't have this. You don't have this. You don't have this. You don't have this. This motivated leads are, how do you get people like, so right here, these are probably from, you know, this is mostly outbound, right? This is outbound. Well, I already wrote that, my bad, outbound. So what does that mean?
You're sourcing you're sourcing it yourself.
You're sourcing yourself. You basically are going, getting a list, skip tracing or whatever, or you're actively looking. So I consider this like really active. I mean, this is really active. And this one is might be more passive, in that people are calling you from your mailing, right? Or calling you for motivated leads from your website, right? It could be website or phone call, depending on how you market. And so even within this marketing space, I can talk, we're gonna do more, we're gonna talk about more stuff here, okay? Referral leads is, as a result of doing these, you ask for referrals from your current past clients and people, your sphere of influence. So if you had a choice, which type of lead would you want? You know, you want to be at number 1 or 2 or 3. You want to be down, here. But the problem, like, most people want to get to this, but they're not they can't, but they have to spend time on this. Well, guess what? It's part of business. It's part